I've been collecting trophies for going on 14 years. Ever since my brother introduced me back in the PS3, I have been hooked and an avid trophy hunter. I've done some of the most notoriously difficult to some of the simplest cheap ones. Long games, short games, platinums I am proud of, and ones I'm not so proud of, and even given up on a few along the way. I've started a series just to sit down and talk about them in my experience as soon as I am done, and as motivation to push through some games that have been left behind. Whether it be Platinums, 100%, DLCs, or games I officially give up on, I am Jambola, this is the Trophy Chronicles, and so let's get into it and talk about some trophies. Well, been a while since I did one of these. Hello everyone, welcome back for the latest episode of Trophy Chronicles, where of course sit down and talk about a game as soon as I finish a Platinum, 100%, DLC, or officially give up, anything like that. And while again it has been a while since I did this, but like a month, maybe more, because I haven't gotten any since then, which one big reason, and it's the game of today, which is of course Vampire Survivors. I said at the end of the last one, this is most likely going to be my next one, and did that deliver? And the reason it took so long, one, it gets long. Like, I don't know what the usual time for people is. I'll get that more at the end when I go to the ratings, but boy, did this take me a while. It is a long ass game. I did all of the DLC, all 221 trophies. Yes, a lot of them are going to come flying to at the start, but wow, that's a lot of trophies. A lot of stuff I'm not going to be fully sound fully versed on how this game started. It came to PS5 like 2 years after Steam and Xbox, but I think a lot of these are expansions that came out over the years for that. So there are a total of 21 expansions for this game, all separate trophy lists. I imagine most of them were added over time. So yeah, it's a lot of trophies. But before we get into the actual trophies themselves, let's talk about the game itself. Let's talk about what is Vampire Survivors. It is the greatest piece of entertainment ever put out into the game industry. And the crazy thing is, I am barely exaggerating. This game took the world by storm in 2022 in ways that most games have never gotten, that most games can't. Like, I feel like everybody at least heard of this or at least saw somebody playing it. Whether you care or not about the game, you at least heard the name and you saw the concept. It is basically, if I had to put it down, it is basically a mix of idle style clicker games and roguelike games. Like a mix between Rogue Legacy and like cookie cutter or clicker kind of things. Not really, more the idle side of those games. You will start off with a whip. You will go into a game, the only thing you control is your movement. Well, kinda, but in general, in terms of gameplay, all you will control movement. You will wait like 3 seconds, whip. Wait another 3 seconds, whip. You will hit the enemy, kill the enemy, pick up experience, gems, kind of things, level up. When you level up, you can increase some of the capabilities of your weapon, whether it be the power of it. It'll do 2 hits. It'll attack from behind as well. It'll cool down faster. That is basically what I've just described is Vampire Survivors to its core. Everything else about this game is an expansion of what I just said. That is the basics of it. But what it has in such a simplistic gameplay style somehow amounts to being one of the most fun, chill, chaotic, addicting games I have ever gotten my hands on. This game, like I said, took the game world by storm 2 years ago, and it took me as well. Without going into exact hours yet until the end, I played this game almost every day for a while. I think I waited a couple of days after it came out because for whatever reason, I think part of me was afraid it wouldn't hold up to how good I thought it could be. But from like the start of October to when I get to Platinum, 6 days ago, I was sick. I couldn't record this right away. I played this game to to death. Well, again, not going into the exact time at the end. I put hundreds of hours into this game in just a month and a half or so. The hundreds. But like I said, with the gameplay, it's has such a simple concept, but does get deeper. As you go on, you'll get more weapons, of course. Again, hundreds of them. Some are just stronger versions of other weapons, but some are just your basic throwing knives, throwing axes, anything fireballs. But then you go into the more varied things that I really love, like the garlic, which is a radius around you that'll hit enemies constantly. You have things like magnetism, so things away from you will be drawn in better, such as food items to heal you or the experience points. And there's also other items around. There's power up stuff like a rosary, which will destroy every enemy on screen. That's not a boss type of enemy. Even some boss type enemies. Things to slow down time. Or basically a super magnet draws every single orb that you left behind to you. So it's not a waste. Oop. So they're not wasted if you left them behind. But then as you go on, you get like crazier upgrades. Like you find these purple chests that have arcanas, I think they're called. I think it was arcanas. Like arcana magic, which will do more crazy things. Like your garlic will heal you as well. Certain enemies have a chance to, or attacks have a chance to freeze enemies. Double attacks with your weapons will just go twice. It's critical moves. Without again, I don't want to go. I will say as well before the start. I'm going to try my best to avoid spoilery stuff, which might sound weird for an arcade game with no story, but I went for every one of these trophies. The only time I ever even came close to anything Googling related, anything looking it up for myself, without, which is again part of why this took me a lot longer. I think the time I would eventually get to would be cut in. It'd be cut to shit if you just use the guide. I think it'd be like less than a 10% of the time, maybe. Like maybe 20% of the time I took to do it easily if you use the guide. The only time I did use the guide was one because I get to so one of the slight negatives I have with the game. It does hide information away from you, and I don't mean in the fun way of oh you have to figure things out for yourself. I mean like you unlock a thing called hyper mode, which makes basically the clock go faster, you're faster. Just if you want to go to 11 and do things faster. It tells you once what that does. It technically still tells you because on the left side of the screen, like when you click hyper, like it says speed 200%, your movement speed 200, whatever. But only once will it tell you in words what it does. As far as I can tell, there's nowhere to read that again. And that happens with a lot of things in the game. When you get an item, it'll tell you what it does. And then the description will just disappear after like 5 seconds after you pick it up. You can see it every time you get it in a level, but like in a new run, but it just disappears. So, and there's a lot of information like that, like when you pick things up, it just will tell you what it does once and you can never figure it out again. Why did I bring that up? Fuck. So yeah, once I looked it up for that to check what hyper mode was, and which fair enough, it was something I already was already told in the game, and the other to figure out how to beat a boss. But even and like I did look it up, but when I eventually did beat that boss, cause even looking it up, it took me a while because I think I slightly read the description just to make sure it was something I could do at this point in the game. So technically I looked it up, but when I did beat him, it was completely accidental because I was trying to do something else. So halfway. But even then, you get more stuff like to a certain point, your weapons can combine. Weapons and like pickups, I guess. But there's other like subcategories for weapons. Are like the magnet thing, which draws in things from further away. The hearts, which heal you faster. Increased cooldown, stuff like that. They're a separate category, and then you get two of them combine. The garlic and the heart become a huge, bigger radius that heals you all the time. You upgrade the blue fireballs, it's a constant barrage of fireballs, just like never ending. Throwing knives and something else, constant throwing knives. It gets unbelievably chaotic when it gets, because the whole screen will be covered in enemies. You'll just be fucking knives everywhere at the enemies, non-stop. It gets unbelievable. But still somehow really cozy. It's hard to describe. It's one of the most chaotic messes of a game ever, but still being very relaxing. Then you'll fight like smaller bosses after a certain amount of time, and then the Reapers will appear, which are much harder to kill, and then after the 30-minute mark, the Reaper. He just comes right for you, one hit kill, you're dead. You do get some things later on that can help you deal with him. But like I said, I don't want to say too much because a huge appeal of this for me at least was just the old school game thing of figuring it out for myself. Because while there are some more cryptic things to unlock, you don't unlock stuff in the game to help you figure that out. You get a map which will show you all the pickups on the map. You get things to unlock secrets. You will just like to see how to unlock a character or the next areas. Sometimes they'll just be very clear. Sometimes there's more cryptic ones I genuinely don't know how to figure out. It'll say things like ignore the something and just enjoy the view. Bring two friends into battle and do I don't know what they mean. Some of them I unlocked, but again, because the game doesn't let you check information again, I knew I had the thing because I could see them on the character list, but I couldn't figure out how I unlocked them. I couldn't even figure out what the clue was. So because I couldn't read the clue, it kind of sucked. Because it might have helped me to like figure out what kind of outside the box thinking to do. But everything in the game, even when it does, like, it's even though there were some things that I did get by luck, I think, and some game things I got because I just happened to check the right thing at the right time, I think. Everything felt fairly doable. There was nothing that was like so unbelievably cryptic, like how the fuck did anybody ever figure that out? There was always something of a clue, and even if there wasn't clues in the game, the trophies might give you a clue, which we'll get to in a sec. Eventually, you do fight like a final boss, which overall, there's no story to this game. The music, I think, is just fine. It's serviceable. But somehow, they managed to make the ending of this game was one of the most. The final battle, the final boss, the music during that was unbelievable. Between the boss itself and the ending of the game. Somehow they managed to make it one of the most cosmically beautiful, awe-inspiring things I've literally ever seen, ever. I was almost tearing up just looking at it and listening to that music because the second the music started on the final boss, my headphones were in. But fuck me. Like, I was just staring at the screen in awe. And it was just, like I said, I was nearly tearing up just how beautiful the ending was. For a fucking arcade looking game. For a game like, clearly very inspired by that kind of stuff. Just, that's crazy to me. And there's some things I have to say about the game is just over time of how I feel about the best way to describe how I feel about this game. One, I've never said this about a game before. Even games I love more, I cherish more, bigger games in my to me, it feels like a game that was made for me. Like a game made specifically for me. I don't know how many other people feel that way about, but I've never felt that way about a game. Ever. Final Fantasy X, favourite game in the world of all time, easily. Favourite piece of just entertainment out there. Favourite piece of media. It doesn't feel like it was made for me. Kingdom Hearts, Pikmin, all huge games for me. Never got that feeling before. And then at one point, I swear, I remember even thinking about this, a game like this before it came out. I remember playing like Rogue Legacy, which weirdly enough, I was actually they look so alike graphically to me. I was surprised it didn't have the same developer. I remember just playing that game and you die, you come back with better stuff. And at one point I thought, wow, they should make a game like this, but like more gradual upgrades, but more kind of automatic things. Like, oh, a thing would float around you and just randomly shoot enemies. I'm not trying to claim they stole this game from my brain or anything, but a bit weird. But who knows? Maybe whoever the people who made this game, what were they called? Ponkel, great name. We must have had like just the same. They must have been playing some roguelikes as well and some fucking clicker games at the same time. Which they were kind of getting bigger around the same time. Probably getting bigger around that time, so it makes sense. And then I remember at one point, this I almost feel bad. At one point I checked the store because I don't even know why. I think it's like thinking about making this video when I would do it, what I would say. I thought this game was 25 euros on the store. And even that felt underpriced from how much fun I had out of it. It was 5. 5 for one of the most addictingly fun games I've ever played. I felt bad. I've never felt undercharged for something in my life. I don't think I paid for it. I think I was getting a PlayStation Plus for free. Like, who the fuck do I think I am? What have I done to deserve this for such a low price? I've like modern games have already been losing a lot of appeal for me, but now you want me to pay 70 for an often unfinished game that I might like? Maybe I can pay 120 for the special edition with the season pass. I also bought all the DLC for this game, as we'll get into in a minute. You know how much that cost me total for like 5 separate DLC packages? Again, roughly five. I think it was like 120 for one, 230 for another one. Like, I feel bad. I genuinely felt bad. I was like, how can I get this for such a low price when I'm spending like €70 on games I barely enjoy? Spider-Man 2, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok. I got all those day one. I didn't put nearly as much time into them. That's what, 210 total? I didn't put even close to the same amount of time or enjoyment into them combined as I did with this. And I got it for free. Like, I, I don't deserve that. I try to be nice. I try to be a good person. I try to be nice to people, but I've done nothing to deserve this for that low of a price. Fuck me. But yeah, that explains how I feel about the game. There's so much, and like I might have mentioned, there's so much content there. There's like 10 levels, and I think there's, across all games, like 5 main levels, and there's like bonus level things. Again, not sure how much of this was in the base game, just like day one, how much was added in. But I think at least on the PS5 base version with no DLC bought, like not in there to pay for, but which actually before I even get into that, there are 21 DLCs for this game. There are 21 like trophy packs, not including the main games, like 21 expansions of trophies. I think five, five of them are locked behind DLC. They have to buy. None of which is more than €2 or whatever, probably about the same in dollars to get. I feel bad. Like, oh god. But I think before buying any DLC, there was 130 items, including like stuff you can pick up for permanent improvements. I don't know how many characters, probably like 40, 50. And every character is different too. Some will like move faster, some will start with a certain weapon, some will start with a certain ability. Some of them are just like, oh, cool, new character. Some of them are like crazy to look at. Then as you move on, you get like crazy characters as well who's there's overpowered as fuck. But I think it's like 300 enemies, and then DLC. You think you just add a small bit, but no. It like doubles the characters, almost doubles the amount of enemies, a bunch of new stages to unlock. It's like, you didn't have to. Like, it's so much that you get. It nearly. I think I had. I got an extra few days. I'm done in terms of trophies, but I'm not done in terms of game. There's still achievements in the game you can unlock, because just for fun, for new characters. So I've unlocked everything character wise. But yeah, it's time. At last. The reason I'm not too pushed about getting into trophies as fast as time because really they're very simple in terms of categories. So let's just get into it. Like I said, 221 trophies. Insanity. And I was even wondering how I do it. Would I just talk about them all overall as like a whole? Would I go through every DLC one by one? But I don't think there's a need to, because the DLC even has pretty much the same type of trophies. As you start off, you will quickly get a few very basic trophies. Kill this many enemies, just like defeat 5,000 enemies, which at the start doesn't seem as fast as you would think, but by the time you get to the end of this game, you will be killing like 40,000 in one game. So these are just kind of basic trophies you expect for a game like this. So like kill 5,000 skeletons, kill 5,000 of this enemy. I think there's 4 or 5 like that. The overwhelming majority of the trophies in this game basically come down to one thing. Go over there. And by that I mean, go get this weapon. Go get this pickup. Combine these 2 weapons for the first time are a huge chunk of the trophies, especially for DLC. Kill this boss. Kill this enemy. Find this coffin, which will basically do a little your princess is in another castle joke, and sometimes unlock new levels or new characters. A lot of them will come down to get to level, it's usually 40, 50 or 80 in a certain level or with a certain character that usually unlocks the next character as well or the next location. Sometimes it'll be like survive 15. For a lot of it, it's like survive 15 minutes. For some, it's 30. There's some crazy ones to survive 31, which requires beating the Reaper, who has a ton of health and kills you in one. But like I said, there's ways to deal with that, which you will probably figure out for yourself. The only trophies that gave me a bit of trouble was one, I think it was. There's one level that basically contains not every power, but every one of like every power up. The magnet, for drawing in experience things from farther away. Reducing cooldown, extra health, all that stuff. All 16 of them are scattered in a very close proximity right at the start, and the goal is to get every single one of them and level them up fully. That's a tough one, as like that took me hours. I would just, because again, not looking it up, you have to kind of experiment and try it for yourself. And I got so close in like one attempt that it just got to a point where I was like, I know I can do it. So I just had to keep. I thought I just had to get a lucky good run, but again, some of these you kind of have to not puzzle. Puzzle is a strong word, but you just kind of have to think about it. So that, and eventually I did kind of think of something. I was like, "Whoo, maybe that'll work." And I think the first go, maybe the second, absolutely fine. There's a couple of specific items that require you to basically beat much more difficult bosses. You unlock things like a trophy for unlocking endless mode and inverse mode, which is just harder version of the levels. Then just stuff related to that as well, mostly for the DLC stuff, the expansion trophies. I think the one that I have to say, give me the most trouble, and it's the one I looked up the answer for, even if I didn't eventually use it. There's this big fucking pile of bones here, and when you shoot at him, he gets bigger, bigger, bigger. And I thought, am I even doing damage to this guy? And that's why I looked up. I wasn't even sure if I was doing damage, and the idea of just wasting my time trying it again and again if I couldn't do it now, literally couldn't, did not appeal to me. That's why I looked it up. But I feel a bit better because when I eventually did do it, it's because I just happened to go back to the right level and I figured something out. Not even I figured something out. I was just doing something else and it's kind of locked its way into figuring out how to beat him. So it just kind of worked out. So while I did look that one up, is the only thing in terms of actual trophy progression, not just like, oh, I forgot a little bit of information. The only one I looked up any answer for, and that made me feel better. That really, it's just such a good it's because this game I felt deserved it. This was not the kind of game where I just wanted to go and be like, oh, I tried this twice. Cool, that's the answer. And like I said before, I think to get the time I spent in this game, it would have been cut down by a good 60, 70, 80% if I just looked up some guides. And then, as you can probably expect from a game like this, the craziest, longest trophies will take you complete the collection, which basically requires you to get every single weapon in the whole collection. Now, some of the trophies for getting some of these weapons are in the expansion, so like DLC Pack 7 will have it. So I'm really not sure how this works. Like, do I have to get the weapon from DLC Pack 7, which is in the collection, or does it just include the items from the base game? I really don't know. I didn't care. I was going to get them all anyway, so that'll take you pretty much the longest. I think one of the characters is locked behind one of them, so like the collection, like not 100% sure. Like, because when you're playing this game, you're unlocking things left and right. Like, it's hard to play this game for half an hour without getting anything, especially if you're going for this kind of stuff. But yeah, that's one that'll take you a while, especially if you're going to see a few gaps. Like, how do I get that? One of them is, it's not really, it's hard to know if you would think of it or not. I'm not even sure if I did or if it's another one of those things that's like, you know what? I'm going to try doing something else in this level because I notice, I don't even know I don't know. It's hard to know what to say because I don't want to spoil things. I think the game deserves the respect of just going in and trying. It's the last game in the world where I was want to be have somebody watching like who want to go in to figure things out and it's like, oh yeah, to do this cool little secret you have to go here and it's like, oh well, ruined. Again, it deserves it. It fucking earned it. Finally beat the thing that I've been trying for I think days, hours at a time, frustration building. I'd finally done it. And then the game crashed. That was upsetting. That was a half an hour down the drain because yeah, that's when how long it took me to on my attempt. But then I knew I could do it at that point. I knew it was how to do it, and I did it again right away. And then it froze again. I am not fucking kidding. Twice in a row. Then I had many more attempts, got nowhere close. Getting it in freeze once. Then eventually, finally, I actually got it. No freezing, no crashing. Which I guess I will quickly point out. One of the few flaws with this game I have. It, on PS5 at least, not sure about anything else, it crashed like shit. Like, apart from some of the Contra DLC levels, which for some reason was the only level I had trouble with, every other level, every other thing, no, even the screen was literally covered in enemies. Like, I was here, everywhere around me was covered. No slowdown, not even a frame drop as far as I could tell. but for some reason it crashed like probably around 20 times in my time. It happened less around the end, so I'm wondering if there was a patch I didn't notice because, the PS5 was like, nah, patch notes, who needs them? Still bitter. But maybe they fixed something, maybe I just got lucky, who knows? Then you do finally get the final character and probably going to complete your collection. And I think for most people, that's going to be the last, in terms of the platinum, that's going to be the last trophy they get. With the last character, you have to kill 100,000 enemies in one sitting. At the start, I didn't know it was in one sitting. And funny thing is, eventually I did finally beat it. You get to the final trophy, kill 100,000 enemies with a character called Queen Sigma. Hate saying that word at this point. 100 at first I thought it was 100,000 total, so I was there like, oh god, I got 40,000 here, now I'll go to this one, and it's, oh no, guess we're nowhere close. It only takes like half an hour, especially put on quick mode and just get the, because she is overpowered as fuck in basic levels, especially for something like this. And when you turn on endless mode, it basically turns off all the reapers, so the one hit kill at the 30-minute mark, not happening. But in terms of, like, that's just base game, that's the platinum. Most of the DLC trophies are pretty much exactly the same. A huge chunk revolve around get this weapon combination, get that weapon combination. Like 90% of them are kind of that kind of stuff. Just get the DLC expansion items, survive 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes here, or reach level 50 or 80 with a certain character. I genuinely think I just described 90% of the DLC trophies. A lot of them also revolve around kind of getting a certain weapon or a certain upgraded weapon up to the top level, which is usually 7 to 11 somewhere. That's another bunch of them. One I'm kind of ashamed to give me a trouble because it's simple. It's just things just kept going wrong. It's basically just have 6 upgraded weapons at the same time. You can only carry 6 weapons at a time anyway, so you have to get just 6 perfect combinations. You get 6 weapons, 6 power ups, but so you get the Garlic and the Heart to combine into the Super Garlic thing, and that's one weapon slot or slot of each fill. Then you have to do it for the second one, then the third one. You have to get 6 in a row. It's simple. Like it's not a difficult trophy. But for some reason, it just kept fucking up. I'd be playing along, then, oh shit, got the wrong weapon. That means the slot has failed, so I couldn't get it. One time I was like this close, and I swear my cat interrupted me, and I just hit the wrong button. Because my cat wanted to go, I was like, okay, one sec, and then, oh, distracted. It's easier, because you can only get 6 slots full in terms of like weapons you pick up through leveling up, because every time you level up, you have a selection of weapons to choose from what you can do. Some you'll upgrade, some to get a new one. But that doesn't apply because there's also weapons and sometimes weapons or pickups on the map. So if there's a heart up in the top left and you fill your 6 slots already, you can still pick up the heart that's on the map already. That's separate than one of those you pick up. So if you fill up, get the heart and then fill up 5, you can't get something else in leveling up. But if you use through leveling up only and then on its own and fill up the things, you can get the heart. I don't know if I explained that well, but you'll figure out but you're playing anyway. But I feel it's something most people figure out very quickly. They'd eventually realize, oh, my slots are filled and there's still things around. Also, again, without spoiling too much about it, the DLC levels they do are unbelievably fun. They do some cool crossovers. I already mentioned the Contra one, but they also do like a Sonic 1 inspired stage with even the bonus level trippy gem things around. I was so happy. I fucking love Sonic. I like Sonic 1. I love the bonus. How often is that acknowledged? And here it is in fucking Vampire Survivors. There's a few more too that are really fun. I won't say, but God, it was fun. There's also a trophy to banish 20 weapons, because as you get more stuff, you can do things like skip, re-roll, but you can also just banish an item permanently from the upgrade menu. And you had to do 40 of these. There's supposed to be things you can buy to upgrade to get 2 at a time, because you only get 1 per level. But it's basically just level up 40 times, get rid of 40 things. I didn't know that it says weapons, but the pickups count too, so it's simple enough. It just takes 40 levels of kind of boredom because like you're not going to be upgrading multiple weapons and getting super strong. So this one of those trophies that the DLC packs definitely helped with, because once you have like 200 things to get rid of, it's a bit easier. Then I think what they expect you to do last in terms of DLC, I'm not sure if it's the most recent one or not, but it's basically like a continuous thing. Do a thing here, get a character, then with a different character, do a different thing in the next level that you unlock from that, which leads to one last super cool final boss, which I'm not going to show here. I'm not going to show the final boss of anything. I'm not sure we're going to show here at all. I'm probably just going to show random gameplay. Try to put in a few relevant things I talked about. I mean, can you even tell what's going on? If anyone's watching this who hasn't played the game, Can you even tell what's happening up here? Up here? I don't know. Here? Wherever. I played it. I can barely tell what's going on. It's a mess. In the best way. And that was the last trophy I got for DLC after 221 trophies of absolute joy. God, it was fun. I am not exaggerating when I say this has become one of my favourite games ever. It has just launched its way right like in probably my top 10 ever. I don't know what it would kick out. I've never done one, but fuck. It, like I've said earlier, it just really felt like a game made for me. It is that much of a special, amazing piece of fun for me. And that's all I ever really felt with this game. Pure fun. The only slight negatives, the crashing is the biggest one. Not letting you see information twice can be because even when you pick up weapons in game, you can't check what they do. Like you can't when you pick up the things I mentioned like, from the purple chests, like the critical things, you can check them what they do. You go into the menu up thing, but for some reason you can't check what the weapons do as far as I can tell, or the pickup. So if you accidentally tip X or looked away while the brief description was on screen, sorry, shit out of luck. You can't check information twice for some reason. And if I'm gonna be a whiny little fuck about it for a minute, it can get frustrating after you die a few times, which is usually when it's gonna happen. And like after you die for a few seconds, like not we won't let you pause, and there's no retry option. I guess that's kind of annoying, but like I said, it's just I'm just being a whiny little fuck. It's only gonna piss you off when you die like 20 times against the same thing. When you've like, oh, I've died 20 times, and then you fight 15 seconds into the level, you get killed in a stupid way that you don't like. That's the only time it's gonna bug me. But like I said, I'm being a whiny bitch. I acknowledge that. For this game, I will acknowledge that. It truly just was something special, and I'm definitely hoping to check out more games in this genre. I hope if any big Vampire Survivors fans have made it this far, please let me know other ones like this. I need more. This game consumed me. Yeah, into the ratings, I guess. Fun factor. Do I even need to say it? I've given tens before in terms of like how much I enjoyed the game. This is like the most unreserved, instant, obvious 10 out of 10 fun I've ever had with a game. No, like it couldn't possibly. It's not like maybe it's a high. No, no. This is closer to an 11 than it is a 9. It was incredible. Genuinely a phenomenon that there's a lot of games that are big, like Last of Us. I understand the love for it, I love it too. I've never ever in my life agreed with the hype behind a game quite like this. Ever. Even with The Last of Us, something like that, it took me a while to finally get to that point. This game instantly, funny off actually, before I get into the other ones, when I first played this game, I got like 4 or 5 hours in. I was like, you know what, it's fun, but I think the novelty's dying down. Yeah, whatever. And that's for like October 4th or 5th. By the time the end of the month hit, a couple of weeks later, 40, 50 hours. And let's just say that ramped up. Difficulty wise, it's hard to really say it's a hard game. A few things gave you trouble, but most of them, like I forgot to mention, you can buy upgrades like permanent ones between rounds too with the money you get in game. Be like more health, revives, instant extra speed, stuff like that. They all help. Even if you're stuck, it usually just comes down to getting a better, luckier run, doing things better from the start, picking a different character, stuff like that. The only things that gave me a bit of trouble, like I said, were the one where you had to upgrade everything, which was partially due to it was a DLC thing anyway. I think I got a weapon from it. Still not sure if that counts for the collection one. The ball of skeleton thing, which that did take me a while, but once you figure it, it's kind of puzzly in a way. It's hard, but when you figure it out, you're probably gonna do it in your first, second go. Even the final boss, I did on my second try. It's hard to say because I never felt too upset when I died in this game, so I didn't even focus on it. Does dying a lot make it difficult if it's part of the experience of getting stronger? But even when you do die in this game, sometimes because when you die, it's not like you fail. It's just the round is over. You get money for it. You get if you got an item in there, you still get it. So 3. Even that's kind of it wasn't like insultingly easy to the point where it's like it gets boring, but it's not about the difficulty, it's more about just the grind, to say. And now though, for the big one. How many hours did this game take me for 100%? To double check, because I had to delete the app at some point and my PS5 is off and it's late, so fuck that. Like I mentioned, I had like 40, 50 hours at the end of October, I think. How did that go by the end of November? The total time for me to get 100% all 221 trophies in Vampire Survivors was 242 hours. Gotta be honest, it's less than I thought it was. I thought it was up to like 300. Alright, that's a bit less insane. Now, that would probably take a lot of people a lot less because, one, I'm a terribly inefficient person, to put it bluntly. I'm not the kind of person who's like, oh, this is next, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go in like, oh, I have to get this weapon. Yeah, let's do it here. Oh, I died in a way I could easily recover from, and like, I went into one level in hyper speed, and I got close, and I died. I could have easily turned off the super speed and just, what else did I do? But yeah, picking a bad character. Easily could have just picked a different character that was way better. I liked the Queen Sigma, who is, like I said, overpowered as fuck. But I wanted to use one of these new characters I hadn't used yet. Easily could have shaved a few hours just with that alone. Plenty of things like that where I'm just like, I'm having fun doing it this way. I'm gonna keep trying this way until I do it, or until I just get so pissed off and done, I just decide to go the easier way. Probably say like 30 hours if I'd just been more generally efficient. If you look up the answers for these stuff, or the answers, what? If you're just getting with a complete guide, I genuinely think you'd shave 100 and something off that, and that even for all of the DLC. Because you go, oh, what's the best item combination for this boss? This. What's the best way to get this weapon up full easy? This. And it would shave ton. But again, I do not. For me, I think if I'd done that, this game would have been good. It would not have had the same satisfaction, the same fun of the hunt of it all. And it just, I think, for me, anyone else do what the fuck they want. For me, it would have tarnished the experience a lot. I don't give a fuck if, like, it's not even like a bragging thing if I should get that's how it comes across. It's just personally, I'm glad I did it that way. I'm happy I did it purely throughout the hints and stuff it shows in the game. And as for an overall rating, do I even need to say it? I got 242 hours of pure stupid fun. Of pure addicting, amazing, incredible, phenomenal fun. Sorry, my new TV likes to turn on my PS5 randomly if I don't turn it off first. So, overall rating, it's an obvious 10 out of 10. And like I said, closer to an 11 than a 9. That's how good this game is. It has taken me so unexpectedly. Like for me, I knew bits about this game before I played it. I knew it was an idle style game, yeah, top down style, just let the game play itself while you move. That's all I knew. But I also knew somehow very quickly this was up my alley. I love clicker heroes. I love wasting time. I like my idle silly games. I'm actually surprised, in my own way, a fan of roguelikes. Sometimes they grab me. Two genres put together that I love. How could I not love this? Like I said, it's why I took a few days at the start to get it, because I was afraid it wouldn't hold up. And for free. For free. Because I have PlayStation Plus. You know what? That's the one I'm going to justify the price. Because I feel undersold. I feel undercharged. PlayStation Plus Premium, I think, is 120. I go house with my brother. Basically €60. I'll pretend I spent 60 on this. Now I slightly feel like I spent enough on it. It really has changed a lot how I'm going to look at games in the future. Like, the idea is pre-ordering a game for 70. Fucking €70. Even if I bought this for the 5, that's what, 14 times that price. If anyone's going to expect me to do spending 70, it better look like a fucking masterpiece. Because it's competing against me spending on 5 on this. Again, not even. If there's two games that have fundamentally changed how I purchase things, this is the second one. I see if I had the other one around. The other was Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Because that was such a letdown that it changed how I pre-order. The only two games I pre-ordered since then are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metaphor Fantasia. Two games here who have changed for one for good, one for bad. One because it was so good, one because it was so bad. It's changed how I purchase things. But yeah, that's it for Vampire Survivors. This one took me a month to finally get through and then a week to fucking record because I was sick. But just 'cause I was, you can probably tell, if I, at the end of October, I think I had, or was it either September or October, like I said, I had like 40 hours. It's clear I've been pushing through it. It's not like I just took a long time to do it. I haven't gotten closer in nearly anything else because of how much I was playing this. How many days is that? We'll say 50. 4 hours a day. A day. 4 hours a day on average in this thing. What else could I get close to? This was a huge part. To the at the end, I will be honest. I think I slowed down getting the trophies just because I didn't want it to be done. It had a huge impact on me. And it's the only time in my life I felt undercharged and felt bad. I genuinely felt a bit guilty because I spent so little. Ah, oh, that's it for Vampire Survivors. Also, obviously, a company very much on my map now. Anything they put out will be instantly on my radar. It's one of the few companies that are on like anything they put out. I would probably get right now list. As for games that could potentially come for the next episode, it's honestly a tough one. Mr. Mosquito's a PS2 game. I don't think the games I don't usually have a ton to do, so that's possible. I didn't even go back to it. Like a month ago, I said, "Oh, it's gonna be Vampire Survivors or Mr. Mosquito." Haven't touched it. Again, what else could I do with this fucking thing in my face all the time? I'm only gonna put three here because none of them are close, or obviously close in my eye. So I'd say Mr. Mosquito, Empire of the Ants has a potential. I haven't even looked at the trophies, but I'm just having such a great time in the few hours I've had with it so far. And I got nothing. I'm not close enough in anything. I'm gonna have to get on that, so it won't be another month before I do one of these. I hope not. But yeah, once again, that's it for Vampire Survivors. Absolutely go try it out if you haven't. Everyone's heard of it, but if you have not, give it a shot. Buy it on the store. It so deserves it. If they ever release a physical copy of this on PlayStation 5, I don't think they have. I'm 90% sure they haven't. Absolutely picking it up. I don't care how much it is. A small part of me was just tempted, like, you know what, here's 10 free copies, but who knows how that would work out. But yeah, thank you for watching episode 4 of Trophy Chronicles. It's been too long since I did this. I miss doing it, but hopefully this will be the only huge, long game in a while, especially one. I wasn't sure if I was going to do all the DLC at the same time or after, but like I said, it was so scattered around anyway. You'd be playing the game like here's a trophy from the. You'd finish a level, get 8 achievements in game, like 6 of them would correspond to trophies, 2 from the main game, 1 from DLC Pack 7, 1 from 14. It was mostly because it was just impossible for me to really separate the content of the main game from the DLC. They were integrated because I got like 15 of them come with it for free, for fuck's sake. It's crazy. Crazy how much content you get here for the price. Even if you buy it full price. Yeah, thanks again for watching and see you for the next one and see you for the next platinum. Hopefully it won't take a month this time.